Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a special episode of Spell Slam. We are back in the replay room of the Commander room on MTGO, and we are playing some Pauper Commander against some regular Commanders. Decided to boot it up again and see what it'd be like, and I was pleasantly surprised. We took this game down. Let's find out how. We have Samut, Golos, and Marieka versus our Shirei deck. It was a very powerful Pauper Commander, actually, and boy, were we... This is one of those matches where you really feel the difference between all the different all the different non-Pauper people and us. We are up against some really cheesy strategies that are extremely powerful, and we are completely outclassed, so we kind of have to use our brains a little bit here. We decided to go for the Mortuary Mara. We keep a really good hand here, actually. We just need to be able to find our 5th land because the Pilgrim's Eye gets us our 4th land already. So we're, starting off strong. Our opponent's, our opponent, Sharko, obviously has some sort of equipment strategy. And then these two, well, you're not quite sure what they're up to. Golos, probably a lands deck of some kind, maybe good old Field of the Dead. We go for our Perilous Mirror. Don't really want to run out any of our precious. These are pretty much the best 2-sack outlets in our deck, and we start off the game with them. So we don't really want to, start off just yet with these guys. So we end up playing Perilous Mirror first. Our opponent starts by dropping Mana Maze, which starts to make you think, oh geez, what are we going to do against this? Players can't cast spells that share a color with the spell most recently cast this turn, which means that we only cast 1 black spell per turn until either Bad Blood dies or until somebody destroys the Mana Maze, which we can't do. We ended up playing the Pilgrim's Eye. We did end up drawing another land. Our opponent Vampiric Tutors here. We search up for another swamp and decide not to attack. And yeah, our opponent is running out Marieka, steals the Golos, and they managed to keep that Golos for a good long while, if I'm not mistaken. Opponent goes Panharmonicon and Tabernacle. So again, you don't play against this in Pauper Commander. This is insane. You'd be, hard-pressed to find somebody who even owns this card in real life. But this is a really nasty card. And they can actually tap it for black mana because they have their Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. Usually this is just kind of you spend your land drop to get this amazing ability, and it's completely insane. So it really is going to keep our board down, but in a way, having this in play is not the worst for us. It keeps other people's boards at bay, and it also gives us kind of a free sack outlet on our upkeep. So it's not the worst card to have, it's just a really nasty card to see in this match, obviously. Opponent has their Danitha out, and Sword of War and Peace, which they can equip for free. Obviously, I'm not the threat here, so they go right ahead and start swinging in Bad Blood. Or no, Pink Floyd. I don't pay for my Perilous Mirror and kill the Lotus Cobra, which is a good move. Just play the Carrion Feeder. I try to cast another spell and then realize Mana Maze is kind of screwing me over. Opponent here is paying for Golos and Mariek? I don't know. And then Mana Breach comes down. So whenever you cast a spell, you have to return a land you control to your hand, which is really nasty. I chump and sack to the Carrion Feeder to avoid taking Golos damage. I don't feel like paying for Pilgrim's Eye anyways. And I'm really going to take it slow in terms of playing up my own commander. There's not much of a rush to do so. Probably not until I get to 5, 6, well, yeah, at least 6 or 7 lands in play to be able to keep the Carrion Feeder. But once I have my engine going, it should be quite powerful, especially because we did get our Burglar Rat, which is another really, really good card for this deck. Opponent going after Bad Blood here. Obviously, they're causing the whole table a lot of harm. We pay for the Carrion Feeder and attack, and I think we pass. Yes, we want to play our... Yeah, we pass because we want to play our commander next turn with 6 lands. Because we have to pay for the Carrion Feeder. Opponent plays Vanishing. Oh, this is a weird play. They play Vanishing on Danitha and then use it right away. thinking that, oh yeah, I might as well hit Charco, who's at 59, but maybe not realizing that they're getting hit for way more on the backswing. They don't have enough mana to repay for Vanishing again. Vanishing gives the creature phasing, and it comes back at the beginning of the controller's upkeep, not your... is it draw step? Untap step. Weird card. Phasing's a cool ability, but you don't see it very, very often. So as you saw, the Danitha came back, and then they go right back to attacking Bad Blood, who just tapped out. And they are taking a lot of damage, down to 16 already. And, of course, I love to see Bad Blood off the field. And I'll definitely be working on doing that. Opponent goes with Solemn. I pay for my Carrion Feeder. I've got my Swamp in hand. I'm ready to pay my 5 for the Commander. I do draw Mortician Beetle, which is really, really nice. Here comes Shirei. I have to return Mortuary Mire, which is actually a pretty nice thing for me. I'm going to get back my Perilous Mirror with that. And I go ahead and attack Bad Blood down to 14. Opponent pays for their 2 creatures. Fine. And they obviously learn from their mistake and are going to phase out Danitha. We get hit by Shirei here. Not sure why he's attacking us, but there you go. Maybe he knows the danger of Shirei. So in a match like this where you're severely outclassed, you kind of have to hold back a little bit and make yourself not the threat and make sure that they kind of kill each other before you. Our friend Pink Floyd here decided to go for Titania. I have this commander in paper, and it's awesome. So much fun to play, and you have a real army to can at the opponent's end step. So what our Pink Floyd's going to do is sacrifice Polluted Delta, Horizon Canopy, Waterlogged Grove? Yeah, Grove and Flooded Strand, and make 4 5/3s that they can afterwards pay for and then swing and kill Bad Blood, potentially. Opponent vanishes out Danitha. Very nice. And Charco goes ahead and plays another creature. Acidic Slime, destroying the Mana Breach? I don't remember. Oh, or is it? I think it's the Mana Breach. Yeah, they kill the Mana Breach, which is nice. Any of those pieces they can get rid of helps the whole table, really. We pay for Shirei and for Carrion Feeder, our 2 best creatures. And now we get to start having some fun, finally. Draw Barrenmoor. Going to run down the Mortuary Mire, putting Perilous Mirror on top. The only thing I could have asked for in this match was something to protect Shirei, like a regeneration ability. I have plenty of those cards in the deck. I just haven't drawn a single one. So I sack the Burglar Rat right away. It's going to come back at my end step. I swing in a Bad Blood down to down to 9. And they cycle Forsake the Worldly. I pass the turn. Burglar Rat comes back. Makes them all discard. And then I sack it again to Carrion Feeder. So it's going to come back at the end of Bad Blood's turn. In theory. Opponent pays for... Oh, and then the Hero's Downfall immediately. I have nothing to protect it, so I just sacrifice it to the Carrion Feeder, making it a 5/5. Carrion Feeder getting really big and scary at this point. And I'm just leaving up Carrion Feeder sack, so just in case of any exile effects. And I also have Barrenmoor cycling. Though I would be tempted to keep the Barrenmoor, just because that would allow me to recast my commander. But I do run quite a few lands on this deck. I'm not too scared of running out of lands, and I've got Viscera Seera as well to dig for more lands if I need to. At this point, seeing the Elemental Army, I don't think it's going at me this turn, but next turn, who knows? So I am planning on replaying, playing a lot of chump blockers, just in case, and then sacking them to the Viscera Seera. Opponent makes tons and tons of elementals. They can get in for 20. But again, I don't think I'm the threat. They end up attacking Bad Blood, I think. And they attack for 20 instead of just the 10. If I were them, I would have attacked me for the other 10. But that's it. So Bad Blood out of the way. All those nasty enchantments gone. We still have to deal with the Tabernacle, though. Where is it? Yep, right here. So back to Charco. He equips over here. 5-2. Trample Haste. He decides to leave it back, but attacks with the Vigilance Danitha. Bring Pink Floyd back down to 10. We draw a card off of Barrenmoor, then we draw our basic land, which is really, really nice, and now you see me playing out my guys. I decided to hold on to the Mesmeric Fiend of the Ashen Skin, Zubera, and just swing at Pink Floyd for 5. Carrion Feeder can't block anyways, so I'm just, free damage, even though it comes at the risk of aggroing Pink Floyd. Though I was really surprised to see that he just gave up on his army to his own Tabernacle. And here I am planning on sacking the Perilous Mere to Viscera Seer to try and find another basic land. And I would like to hold on to the Mortician Beetle. And Tabernacle, you think it doesn't say sacrifice, it says destroy, so it doesn't actually grow the Mortician Beetle, unfortunately. Kind of a weird old school wording, I guess. Opponent goes all in on the Acidic Slime. Doesn't attack. I start sacking my guys to scry. Okay, so I guess I should stop right here and just say, okay, well, I stopped for a little bit on the Acidic Slime before he equipped everything, and I started doing some politicking. And we were really talking about ganging up on Pink Floyd, and he was at 8. I could have dealt him a ton of damage over the course of the game, though he had played Glacial Chasm, which made it so we couldn't attack, but I could still deal him plenty of damage through the Perilous Mere. And Charco also said he had something in his hand to kind of help deal with what was going on over there, because none of our creatures could attack. So Pink Floyd, kind of seeing the writing on the wall, just scooped it up right when I had the Perilous Mere damage at his face on the stack, which was kind of, bad manners on his part. So it's down to just Charco and me. I'm looking at this 9/6 pro-white, pro-black, pro-red, haste, hexproof, lifelink, trample, death touch. And I'm thinking, oh, geez, I have 0 chance. So I tell him, well, I'm pretty sure you've got me. I'll just, draw my card and see where we go from here. Maybe we'll keep playing a little bit longer. I drew Bone Splinters, which unfortunately is black. I replay my Shirei and just pass the turn. Thinking, whatever, I haven't played in a while, let's let's see where this goes. I have 1 draw in my deck that gets me out of this. Opponent plays Lurking Predators, which is a little bit annoying. Whenever I cast a spell, they can look at the top card of their library, and if it's a creature, they put it directly into play. Really, really nice spell. So I lose a little bit of life. I sack my guys to look for something. And I draw Abyssal Gatekeeper, which is the draw I needed. And suddenly, I'm back in the game, so now I just start dumping my hand. Opponent, luckily, has been whiffing on lurking Predators. And I just start stacking up all sorts of stuff here, getting rid of their hand in the process. So that's their hand, Stonehewer, Danitha, whatever. I get it back. I Bone Splinters their Stonehewer that they got into play. And then leave them with just an Oracle, but all of my creatures are coming back at the end step, so I'll be able to get rid of it if he tries to equip. Because of the Abyssal Gatekeeper. So he has 3 cards left in his hand, but here I sack the Mesmeric Fiend in response to its ability to exile a card forever, and I make him discard 2 cards with the Ashen Skin Zubera, making it so that he has no cards in hand. Viscera Seer comes back. We know he has Explosive Vegetation on top, which I'm not too worried about. I let him spend all his mana to equip, but I'm just going to use the Abyssal Gatekeeper sacrificing the Viscera Seer to it. And all the while, my Carrion Feeder and Mortician Beetle are getting huge. I put a land on the bottom, get all my stuff back at their end step, and at this point I'm in full control of the game because I can stop on their draw step, sacrifice the Ashen-Skin Zubeira, make them discard the card that they just draw. So they are completely locked out of the game, unable to win, and my guys are just getting bigger and bigger all the time. Unless they draw some sort of instant or something, I don't even need to cast a spell for the rest of the game, and they GG, and I believe that's the game. Oh, they haven't realized yet that I can make them discard on their draw step. So here I sack a creature, make them discard their card, and that's enough to warrant the concession because there's no way they're getting out of this. Oh yeah, they drew their Explosive Vegetation, but they just understand that it's over. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So I think that's a really good lesson in how to manage a board where you are clearly the weakest player at the table, which is going to happen quite a bit. Doesn't mean you can't win. You just have to know when to talk to people, know when to manage what's going on, and then pounce on any opportunity to win that you can. So hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you next time.